G'day everyone and welcome to Brushes with Beck. Today's video is a part 2 of my butterfly drawing video that I uploaded last week. So if you haven't seen the first part of this video and you want to see how I've started the work on this butterfly's wing, feel free to check out that video up in the cards above. Let's get into it. So as you can see, I didn't finish the wing last week and I had to finish off this lower portion of the wing this week. I basically followed the same approach as previously, with underlying the blacks with some, I think it's Caput Mortem and Cinnamon, just to get some reddish tones in there rather than just straight black, and get some varying colours through there because it's not all vivid black. It's quite, there's a few alterations in tone and value in there, so that's important to get in those underlayers of the black to make that look nice and rich. So the wing initially, the top part especially, I found it quite challenging in the fact that I had to very carefully work around all the specific areas of colour, and it did take me quite a while to do, but after I'd taken a little bit of a break, coming back to the second part of the wing was much more enjoyable. I guess I'd had the practice of doing the first part and it went along much more smoothly and without too much trouble, and I quite enjoyed that. I actually thought that I didn't know how I was going to tackle the body, and I thought I wasn't going to like doing the legs, but I actually really enjoyed doing both of those parts on this piece. And I laid in the red areas first just to give myself some sort of, I guess, point of reference, because the body is very dark and fluffy and it can be hard to distinguish certain parts. So I laid that in first so that I could work around those areas. Now, if I didn't mention earlier, the paper I'm working on is Canson Mi-teintes paper, and I'm using my Faber-Castell Polychromos colour pencils to complete this. As you can see, I'm still also layering in some of those undercolours under the sort of the fluffy body and on the, what's it called, proboscis or something, the little mouthpiece of the butterfly, and just working in those lovely little colour tones first before adding in the dark blacks. I thought the legs were going to be more challenging than what they were because it's such a small area, but there is quite a lot of, you know, there's a black edge on one side and a light area, then a slight black rim on the other side. There's a lot of changing colours and tone in a very small space, and I thought it was going to be quite tricky to pull off, but it actually came out quite nicely. And so I just did each leg one at a time, and I really enjoyed that process. I used blues for the highlights on the leg rather than white. Went over them a bit with some warm grey or cool grey or something, just to really sort of smooth that out a bit. And yeah, just slowly worked my way through the body, and I found it actually really, really enjoyable. Getting all those little fuzzy little hairs on, and the shiny appearance of the legs with the little fine little hairs on them as well. It actually worked out really, really nicely. So I always love working on Canson Mi-teintes paper because it just takes colour so well. I like that it's just a very easy application of colour. You can't layer as much as you can with, say, pastel matte, but it is just such a quick process compared to smooth papers, which I find just not torturous. That's very harsh. I do enjoy working on smooth papers, but it is quite a strain on my hand to lay down rich, vibrant colour on there. So it's really starting to come together once that the rest of the body is all coloured in, and just refining some of those hairs on the body and dark areas there, and just sort of, you know, pushing the darks and the feathery bits and making that all come together nicely. Now, I did leave the little antennae until last there because I was a little bit hesitant about doing them because they are so detailed and so fine, but I think they turned out all right. In the end, I managed to get the appearance that I wanted from those, and that was quite good. The difference in colour between the two really helps them stand out in terms of one being further back at a particular angle and the other one pointing in another direction, catching the light differently. So last but not least, I had to, of course, draw the leaf that the butterfly was resting on. That was a little bit challenging for me. I don't draw a lot of leaves, and I just basically grabbed almost any green. I just grabbed a light green and just started layering up colours for this leaf, just building up that colour depth. I wasn't trying to match the green exactly to my reference photo. I just sort of went with greens that I liked. So it really doesn't matter in that regard. Just, use what you like in terms of greens for a leaf, if it's nondescript in terms of what sort of plant the butterfly is sitting on. So that was actually turned out to be quite a bit of fun. Spent some time layering that up before building up texture and putting in some highlights over the top of that texture that I'd put in. So all in all, it came together really, really nicely in the end, and you will see that right as I finish up. I'll zoom out a bit and you can see the finished piece, and it all looks really lovely together. And it was quite a lot of work, especially the wing of the butterfly. It took me way longer than I expected it to, but I really enjoyed the process, and I would like to draw more insects because they are quite interesting to do studies of, and just the amount of detail in them, and you can just admire all the aspects of their physiology when you are drawing them. So it was quite a fun experience for me, and I really did enjoy it, and I love the end result. I hope you guys do too. So if you'd like to see more art videos from me, I upload a new art video every single week, so subscribe to my channel if you would love to see more. Please comment down below and like this video. I'll see you next week for another one. Stay creative.